A very good afternoon to all my dear friends, my students, Mr. Om Gupta, Pathak, Jignesh, Rohani, Janavi, Tamanna, Chandana, Mr. Vansh, Naveen. Good afternoon, children. Shruti Tiwari, Prem, Pranati, Kajal, Harshita, Khushi Kapoor, all of you children. I'm so happy to read that you have revised what we have done in the previous class. That's excellent, great. Welcome back once again. We are going to start with a new session. Nishi, Amar, Dhruv, Krish, Divyanshi, all of you children, good afternoon. Yagesh, Prakriti, Jia, Hemlata, Tushara. Yes, we will be starting with the unit 2. We'll be revising what we have done, Harshita Pali first, and then we'll move ahead. All right, Miss Mogan Priya, good afternoon, children. So I'm very happy to read those who have written. We have revised the content and we are all ready and excited for the session ahead. So that's great. The feelings are mutual here also. Even I am very, very excited to teach you the balanced topic of Unit 2, that is your implied conditions and warranties. So students, in today's topic, we'll be covering too many examples and there will be short stories. We'll be kind of going to the market, purchasing the goods, seeing whether the conditions have been breached, what happens if the condition is breached, what will happen if the warranty is breached. This is what you are going to tell me today. So before we start the session, let me quickly take a test of all of you. Thank you, Ms. Janvi. Good afternoon, Nishi, Ayush, Pavitra, MD, Rohit, all of you children, Akansha, Shriya, Komal, Khushi, Kupas, Sagudar, Anant Goel, Yagesh, Vivekanand, Pooja, Ashish, Jia, all of you, Namanpreet. So let's have a quick revision as well as quick test. Quickly define me what is condition and what is warranty. You all have to quickly define. Krishna Katel. Don't worry, even if you have joined in late, we have just started the session. So you all have to define what is condition and what is warranty. And let me see who is going to cheat and take time in replying, and who has learned it, they will be replying it quickly. So let us announce who is the winner for the first 5 winners who give the answer first. Krishna Singh is asking, ma'am, difference between transfer of title and what? So you have not written the balance thing, and basically this is the topic that is the third unit that we'll be covering. Okay. Thank you, Nishi Garg. I'm so glad that you're enjoying the sessions, and I hope you have revised the content also. Good. Good afternoon, Siloni. So where are the answers? I'm looking for the answers, students. None of you have answered yet. So I hope you have come to know the question. The question is, what is condition and what is warranty? Divyanshi is saying condition is breach. What do you mean you have breached this condition? So breach is what happens if the condition is breached. Don't say that condition is breach, okay? Okay, Komalpreet, excellent. You have given the answer for condition. Rohani, excellent. Pratima Upadhyay, she has given the answer. Ruchita has given the answer. Mathivthana Sundaran, condition is requirement for sale, whereas warranty is not. Excellent, that's great. Main purpose is condition, Janvi. Good. Saloni, Om Gupta, Komal. All of you have given the correct answers. I told you I'll be taking names of only those who are the first ones. So these are 7-8 students who were the first one to answer. Somebody is saying warranty is time period for exchange. Okay, that is the time which is given. But what is actually warranty? It is something which is related. All of you have answered only the condition. I asked you what is condition as well as warranty. Both of them you need to answer. Okay. So warranty is something. Yes, Mr. Moria. It is a stipulation collateral to the main purpose of contract. So around 150 students have answered correctly. So applause for all of you. Ritu, Dolly, Kajal, Nishi, Janvi, all of you are correct students. So very well done. This proves that you have revised your content. Yes, warranty is a stipulation which is collateral. Absolutely correct. So let's have a quick revision. What is the meaning of stipulation? Stipulation is the representation which the seller is making. Something which is very, very important for the contract. That stipulation is known as condition, and the stipulation which is related to the contract. Something which is not very essential, but yes, it is part of the contract. Like I told you, if the horn of the car is not working, or if the washing machine is not working properly, it is using much of electricity, here warranty is kind of breached. And Divyanshi, when you said condition is breach, breach means what happened if it is not fulfilled. So I told you I want 7 kg washing machine and it turned out to be 5 kg. This is breach of condition. And if it is using much more electricity, some repair is required, then we can only claim the damages. Then it is considered as breach of warranty. All right. So meanwhile, I'm taking out the presentation. You all have to answer me another thing very quickly. What happens when the condition is breached and what happens when the warranty is breached? When condition is breached, great, Krishna, you have answered both. So very well done. All of you are giving correct answers. I'm very happy about that. But don't expect that I'll be taking names of all the students, but your answers are reaching me very nicely over here. I can read it. It's okay, Divyanshi, you don't need to be sorry, but I hope you have understood what I'm trying to tell you, okay? So now you tell me, if condition is breached, what happens? And if warranty is breached, what happens? What is the difference between both of them? And once you have answered this one correctly, we'll start with the types of implied conditions. I hope you have also revised all the descriptive questions that are given behind Unit 1. We have discussed the other day, few of them. Yes, Sarbaz, in Hindi, if you're asking, अगर आप condition breach करते हो तो क्या होगा? क्या आप goods return कर सकते हो? क्या आप damages claim करते हो? What will happen? And if warranty is breached, then what happens? Okay, so you have to answer me this one. So many of you have sent the correct answers. That's wonderful, wonderful, very nice. Leeladhar, we have just joined. Okay, good afternoon. Warranty only you can claim damages. Pathak Jignesh, that's correct. Vishnu, Vedant, P. Yamini, Maurya, Chanvi, Jia, Pratima, Dolly Das. Oh my God, intelligent students in my class. Everybody has given a correct answer. So, descriptive question 3 of Unit 1, somebody is asking. So, Pratima, when we go to the end of this class, just remind me once again. I have noted descriptive question 3 of Unit 1 you have asked. So just remind me after 3:30 so that when we take up the queries, we can discuss this question, okay? Jia, that's correct. Namanpreet, Anand, Vidisha, very good children. So now you all remember that if the condition is breached, we can return the goods. We can reject the goods, and if warranty is breached, yes, Mohit, then you can only claim the damages. Tushara, Jia Walia, Aniket, all of you. Subhan, सबने correct answer दिया. Angel, Anjali, and those who were asking me to talk in Hindi. अगर आपकी warranty breach होती है, breach means अगर fulfill नहीं होता है, धोखा होता है आपके साथ, तो आप सिर्फ damages claim कर पाओगे, आप goods return नहीं कर सकते. बट जब आपकी कंडीशन ब्रीच होती है, जो आपने प्रॉमिस करा था कि ये मेरी गाड़ी टूरिंग पर्पसेस के लिए ही यूज होनी चाहिए, एंड वो फुलफिल नहीं होता है, तो आप कार वापस देकर पूरा रिफंड मनी क्लेम कर सकते हैं. दैट इज नोन एज ब्रीच ऑफ कंडीशन. इफ कंडीशन इज ब्रीच्ड, यू गेट द राइट टू रिटर्न द गुड्स एंड यू कैन आल्सो क्लेम योर मनी बैक. ओके. And yes, Sovan Patra, we also discussed when the condition can be treated as warranty. All these points were taken up. We have discussed in detail. Sahana is asking, ma'am, explain section 11. So what you have not understood in section 11, you can ask specifically. Otherwise, just to have a quick recall, section 11 tells you about stipulation relating to time. Remember all those examples of birthday cakes, marriage, wedding, anniversary. Whenever you have to, yes, Sahana, Shahishidhar, Sahana, Miss Sahana, we're talking about section 11 only. So section 11 talks about stipulation. All right, Miss Ishika Roy, that's great. So it tells you stipulation as to time. So you students have to answer me. So if I've ordered a birthday cake for my birthday today, suppose it's my birthday today and I've ordered a birthday cake, and that person is getting exactly the same, condition is not breached, everything is fine. I ordered a blueberry chocolate cake and he got me the same blueberry chocolate cake and the same designing, everything was perfect, but he got the cake tomorrow. Or you can say, yesterday was my birthday and he's getting the cake today. Am I bound to accept it? Is it compulsory for me? Should I accept it or I can reject it? You tell me, what will happen? What I can do, I can reject the goods. Yes, ma'am, we can reject the goods. Why? The reason is because breach of condition as to time has happened. So law says in certain cases, section 11 typically tells you that there are certain stipulations which makes it necessary that the goods should be delivered on time. आप डोमिनोज वाले से पिज्जा ऑर्डर करते हो, आपको पता है हाफ एन आवर में पिज्जा आना है, तो आप रिटर्न कर देते हो ना, वहां पे ऑलरेडी उनकी कंडीशन है, उन्होंने डिस्क्लेमर दिया हुआ है कि हाफ एन आवर पिज्जा विल बी डिलीवर्ड, अदरवाइज यू कैन रिटर्न इट. Similarly, in certain cases, it says it becomes mandatory. Yes, Vedant Sharma, you can reject the goods. Excellent. So in certain cases, it becomes where the time is a constraint. जहाँ पे situation ऐसी है कि timing is necessary, there you can reject the goods, even if it is he's getting it late. Okay, all of you, those who have written, that's correct answer. And Mr. Hitesh is saying happy birthday, ma'am. So actually, it's not my birthday today. So anyways, thanks for the in advance wishes. Okay, Bhumika. Difference between condition and warranty is just the same, Bhumika. The points that we have just discussed, the definitions, and what happens if the breach is done, you can write about it. Mr. Krishna Singh is asking, what is the meaning of price determined by course of dealing between the parties? It means, course of dealings means, Krishna, if I have been selling you the goods for ₹100 last month, now I have been selling you the goods for ₹90 for this month. Next month, I'll be fixing a rate somewhere between 100 and 90. So, जिस तरह से हमारी dealing हो रही थी, पहले से होती आ रही है over the years, we are determining the price according to that deal. It is about the relationship between the buyer and seller, how you determine the price. Okay, Miss Angel Chavla has written a query. She says that if a person wants to buy an went to an electronic store, he saw the machine on which various features were written, but when the customer got the product, one or two functions were not there. Will it be a breach of condition or warranty? Very interesting question. So, Miss Angel, today when we talk about 7 implied conditions, it is anyways will be covered there also. But as of now, if you ask me, it has two perspectives to that. If he has specifically told you that these functions will be there and you have bought the goods on the basis of that condition, then it will be breach of condition if it is not working as per the requirement. Okay. Students, Likhit is asking about section 13. How can we resign the contract, breach of condition, but you can also accept. Mr. Prem, so breach of time, there is no word, Yagesh, breach of time. Here we are saying the condition has been breached related to the timing constraint. So anyways, where a time is a constraint, if it is a condition, say for example, you've ordered the wedding lehenga, wedding has happened and after a week he's getting a lehenga, straight away you have the right to reject because आपका purpose जो था वो खत्म हो चुका. And section 13, all those who are asking, let's have a quick revision of section 13 also. When the conditions can be treated as warranties, number one, when the buyer has waived, he has said that, okay, fine, I don't want to treat, when he does not want to part with the goods. So you bought the washing machine, although it is not 7 kgs, it is only 5 kgs, condition has been breached, but still you are very happy with that washing machine. You're really enjoying it, you're really liking it, you don't want to return it. So in such cases, you can say that the first two cases, the buyer can either waive it or the circumstances are such that he does not want to return the goods. Third point is acceptance of part of the goods. If the goods cannot be divided, they cannot be separated, means they cannot be parted with each other. Say, for example, basmati rice and ordinary rice have got mixed up. Now, if you have accepted the goods, You can only claim the damages, you cannot reject it. And fourth one was if any destruction has happened or any impossibility of performance, suppose floods आ गए, बाढ़ आ गई, अब वो goods जो उन्होंने यहाँ पे देने थे वो आप नहीं return कर सकते हो, something has become impossible, here you can only claim the damages, you cannot enforce the returnment of goods. Clear? Now we are going to start with the topic of expressed and implied conditions. Let us see the first implied condition. Condition as to title. What is the meaning of condition as to title? What is the meaning of the word title? Quickly answer me, students. What is the meaning of title? Is it possession? Is it custody? Is it ownership? What do you understand by the word title? Yes, Ishika Roy, that is absolutely correct for hire purchase that you have written. Muskan, that will be symbolic delivery. We have already discussed in the previous class for the keys of the warehouse. Anishka is asking what is the meaning of waiver. Bhumika is also asking waiver means to give up. Mansi Gupta, I hope now you have understood this point. So waiver means that I have waived off. I have given it off. I have given up my right. I don't want to return the goods. I want to treat it as breach of warranty. And excellent, all those who have written ownership, wonderful, great. Hitesh, if you can separate the goods and if you have not accepted, then anyways, you can reject the goods. There is no problem in that. Khushi, Maurya, all of you, ownership is the correct answer. Anand Gaur, correct. Sabne theek likha hai. Title means ownership. Anand Goel says when the property is passed. So property can be passed only if you are the owner. So आप सबने तो मुझे पहले ही इसका आंसर दे दिया. आप सबको पता ही है कि who is the title. Condition as to title means that you should be the owner of the goods. Now, what is the meaning of, now leave that admin query thing, come back here, all the eyes and ears, concentrate fully, sit with your pens and papers in hand. If you have the study material, take out the study materials, but full concentration needs to be paid so that today when we discuss the implied conditions, my students should also learn it today itself. आज हम जो 7 implied conditions पढ़ेंगे उसको आज शाम को ही आप रिवाइज कर लोगे और लर्न कर लोगे आज ही. Don't postpone it. Learn it the very same day because I'm going to make it very, very simple for you today. So if you'll revise it, you will grasp the same things. Don't postpone it for the weekend. कि कल परसों 2 दिन छुट्टी है, Saturday, Sunday, I will do it. No. Learn it today itself. And on Monday, I'm going to ask you questions on that. So let's pay attention to the first condition as to title. So students, when you go to a shopkeeper to buy your favorite chocolates, ice creams, and biscuits, do I need to go and ask the vendor that are you the owner of this shop? कभी ऐसा हुआ है आप कुछ कपड़ा खरीदने गए हैं या बिस्किट खरीदने गए हैं या कन्फेक्शनरी शॉप गए हैं या स्टेशनरी की शॉप पे जाते हैं, हम क्या करते हैं, assume करते हैं कि whosoever is sitting in the shop, he is the owner of the shop. So law says this is implied condition. ये implied है by your actions. Express क्या होता है? By words spoken. What is the meaning of express contract? By words spoken or written. What is the meaning of implied contract? By action. Remember the example of coolie example that you must have done in Indian Contract Act. If coolie has picked up your luggage and he has dropped you out till the out of station, are you bound to pay him the money? And the other person say, no, I am not going to bound to pay you because I did not discuss anything about the contract. But law says that's implied contract. It is a tactic one. Your actions have made this contract the real contract because your actions proved it. So implied meaning again, sale of goods have come from Indian Contract Act. I told you before 1930, we all were together part of Indian Contract Act. So sale of goods provisions have been quoted from the same Contract Act. So that's why it uses the word express conditions, where I've spoken about the conditions. I've told you I want the car for this purpose, but there are certain implied conditions. So what are those implied conditions? Number one, about the ownership. So you all agree to me, yes, ma'am. We will never ask the shopkeeper that, are you the owner? We will always assume that he is the owner. So now this Mr. A, he went to Mr. B and he said, very beautiful tractor. I want to purchase it from you. And he said, it's a nice, beautiful tractor. Pay me rupees 40,000 and purchase it. So A purchased this tractor for 40,000 rupees. Later on, when he was using this tractor in his fields, a true owner, Mr. C, saw Mr. A and he said, look, come here, wait. Where are you taking my tractor? A said, hello, your tractor? I have made the payment of 40,000 to B. This is not your tractor. This is my tractor. So C, Mr. True Owner said, look, this Mr. B has stolen it from my shop and now I have seen it. Give it back to me. So what has actually happened? You have purchased the goods from a person who was not the owner. Though B was a shopkeeper, but he was not the owner of the goods. In such a case, where you have purchased the goods from the person who is not the owner, there are two options for the buyer. Buyer needs to return back the goods to the true owner, and in return, he will file a case. He will file a case against the whom? Against the, yes, correct, against the seller and claim back his money. वो बोलेगा मेरी क्या गलती है इसमें? Buyer will say, innocent buyer will immediately go back to Mr. B and he will say, look, you were not the owner and now C has come. He has taken the tractor back from me. Pay my 40,000 rupees back. And court will ask him to pay it back. He will have to refund it. So this is the breach of implied condition. It is held that if you are not the owner of the goods, you have no right to sell off the stolen goods. And in case you have purchased the stolen goods, it is your duty to return it back to the true owner and claim your money back from the seller. Understood? This is the exact meaning of condition as to title. So let me give you another interesting example, which you are going to answer me. So today, testing of your knowledge will happen along with the class. Okay. So Mr. P sold his ring to Mr. Q, which P has stolen from Mr. R. So P sells a ring to Mr. Q. P is the seller, Q is the buyer, and this was the stolen ring. He has stolen. So who is the true owner? Mr. R. So you will write in your notebook, seller is Mr. P, buyer is Mr. Q, and who is the true owner? True owner is, ma'am, Mr. R. What will happen? You have to tell me now. If R finds this ring in hand of Mr. Q, what will happen? On the basis of implied condition as to title, example जो हमने अभी अभी करा, अब इस example पर आप मुझे apply करके दिखाइए कि what will happen if there is a seller Mr. P and a buyer Mr. Q and the true owner Mr. R. Who is bound to return the goods to whom and who will claim the money? Answer me, students. Read it condition as to title carefully and you have to send me the answer back. I just now told you who has to return the goods to whom. You have to answer me back. Let me check your answers. Miss Ruchita Kapse, correct. First one to send the correct answer. Very good, Ruchita. Ayush, what do you want me to explain in Hindi? Please ask specifically. We can't have the entire lecture in Hindi. Please understand, children. Yes, Miss Neha Gupta, you cannot sell without the title. That's correct. Good, Miss Sahana. That's great. So R can claim money. You're saying R can claim money. What do you mean R can claim? R is the true owner. So you want me to tell you the correct answer? Q will return the ring to R. Q can sue P. R is going to say, this is my ring. He has to claim it back. Very good, Kavita, Varun. Very nice students. Now you have become so brilliant and you have given me the entire explanation. Nishi says Q will file a case against Mr. P and R can file a case. No, R does not need to file any case. Q is bound to return the goods. So excellent, all those who have given the correct answer. Shalini, Jia, Hitesh, very good, Manisha, all of your children. Talari, Mehek, Bhumika, सबने ठीक आंसर दिया है. So let's conclude it. Some people in between have got mixed up also. So true owner, Mr. R will, you can say either Mr. Q is bound to return the goods to the true owner, that is Mr. R, and Q will claim the refund of money from whom? From Mr. P, the seller. All right. So if you have not, those who did not know the answer, they can write Q is bound to return the goods to the true owner, Mr. R, and also Q will claim. अगर आप buyer के point of view से याद रखोगे ना, फिर बहुत ज़्यादा confusion है कि buyer को goods true owner को return करने हैं and refund of price money लेना है seller से, क्योंकि buyer was an innocent buyer, उसके साथ धोखा हुआ है, उसके साथ breach of implied condition हुआ है. So learn it from the viewpoint of buyer, what the buyer can do. हमने वैसे भी तो यही देखा ना, breach of implied condition, buyer has the right to return the goods and claim the refund money. But here the buyer is going to return the goods to the true owner and claim the refund of the money from the seller. Everyone is clear? Good. Now let's move to the second condition. We will read this point of condition as to title, the two examples given in study material also. But let me just complete this point of condition as to description. Now, what is the meaning of description? I told you this is a blue color pencil. It writes very well. It has a very sharp nib and it is also an art pencil. You can use it for sketching. You went home and you went to your art teacher and you found that this is an ordinary HP pencil. This is not used for art. What will you do? You say, Harleen ma'am has cheated with us. She has sold us a wrong pencil, such an ordinary pencil. She sold it for ₹100. You will quickly come back to me and you will tell me, ma'am, your goods were not as per the description. ये लो अपनी pencil और हमारे ₹100 वापस करो. ऐसा ही होगा ना, कोई भी अगर आपके साथ डिस्क्रिप्शन दे रहा है, फ्रॉड नहीं, हम एग्जैक्टली यहाँ कहेंगे, हम डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हैं बट वो एज पर डिस्क्रिप्शन नहीं है, then buyer again has the right to return the goods and claim the refund of the price. Here in the example which is given in the study material, A sold the goods to B 12 packs of waste silk. So there is a product A is selling to B by saying this is all waste silk. कोई एक टाइप ऑफ वैरायटी ऑफ क्लॉथ होता है जिसमें वेस्ट सिल्क की रिक्वायरमेंट होती है, तो उसने कहा इट इज द वेस्ट सिल्क व्हिच इज एज नोन इन द मार्केट, बट व्हेन बी ओपनड द बैग्स देयर वाज लॉट ऑफ कॉटन मिक्स्ड इन दिस सिल्क. You can see how it has been shown in the picture. Instead of waste silk, they were having certain amount of another threads and cottons was also mixed into this silk. Now Mr. B has full right to return the goods and he will claim the damages, saying that the goods are not at all as per description. So B is bound to return the goods and A is bound to give the money. So whenever you buy the goods and the seller is giving you flaunting description that this is, a beautiful Samsung phone, it is 6 inches phone, it has a good memory card, you can make nice reels out of it on Instagram, you can use Facebook on that, whatever features, and also you can have an additional memory card, and it has a good selfie mode camera with good pixels. But when you purchase the phone, you found that the phone does not have a selfie mode on. Although ऐसा होता नहीं है, हर एक ordinary phone में भी आज की डेट में selfie mode है, but you wanted an extraordinary one with a good pixel and it did not turn out to be that good pixel. So now you have the right, or maybe you wanted the phone which is red in color, but this phone turned out to be white in color. So you told him description, everything was given, and you have specifically asked for a red color phone. But when you went home, you opened the box, it was a white color phone. So here, breach of condition as to description has happened. Examiner will ask you certain descriptive questions wherein you will have to find what has been breached. Sample का breach हुआ है या description का हुआ है या ownership का breach हुआ है, उसके base पे आपको answer देना. But in all these categories, the answer will remain same. Whatever implied condition has been breached, buyer has the right to return the goods and he can claim the refund of the prize money from the seller. All right. This is what is the meaning of condition as to description. Condition as to description has huge points given in the study material. So let us just open once from the study as well. Yes. So I hope this waiving the performance is now clear. Waives means to give up. I waive off my right. I give up my right. I'm surrendering it. Waiving means you does not want to return the goods. So you have just waived off your right of breach of condition. So these are the implied conditions that we are doing. Condition as to title. First, let us see the condition as to title from the study material. Now here he is going to tell you about what kind of condition we are talking about. So this first example is of tractor. Now when the study says that the first implied condition on the part of seller is in case of a sale, he has a right to sell. In case of an agreement to sell, he has a right to sell only when the property is to be passed. So this simply means that this is the case of sale and this is the case of an agreement to sell. In both the cases, only if you are the owner, then only you can sell. Even if you have made an agreement to sell, then also you should be the owner of goods. And even if you are making a sale, you should be the owner of the goods. So it means the seller should have the right to sell the goods. Owner can only have the right. Now, my neighbors will not have the right to sell the goods which I own. Only I will have the right to sell the goods which I own. If the seller's title is defected, buyer will return the goods to the true owner and recover. So we have just learned number 1 point, buyer will return the goods to the true owner. Like in our example, who was returning the goods to R and recover the price from the seller. So we recovered the price from Mr. P. A, purchase a tractor is the same example which we have just discussed from the presentation. Let's see example number 5. A sells to B tins of condensed milk. Have you ever tasted condensed milk? वो जो मीठा सा आता है, powdered milk. It's very tasty. You put it in cakes and other kind of things. Product condensed milk is used. It's very sweetened. Okay, so the sweetened milk was being tins of condensed milk. This is generally used for baking cakes or other kind of biscuits or other things. Even for custard use. So आज खाकर देखना या market से पता करना condensed milk क्या होता है. So उसने condensed milk बेचा with the brand of CDF brand. कोई नाम था CDF brand. कभी आप कोई market में चीज खरीदते हो डेयरी मिल्क चॉकलेट्स आती है तो डेयरी मिल्क कैडबरी की है, 5 स्टार है, एंड इफ यू बाय डार्क चॉकलेट तो अमूल की आती है, लिंडेंट की आती है, डिफरेंट डिफरेंट ब्रांड्स होते हैं ना। अगर आप कोक लेते हैं या फिर पेप्सी लेते हैं, डिफरेंट ब्रांड्स. So now the CDF brand, although you purchased this condensed milk, it was having the name of CDF brand, but this was actually an infringement of N company's trademark. So the CDF has done a misuse of trademark. Misuse of trademark means हमने उनका trademark, patent, logo use करा हुआ है, गलत कर रहे हो आप. आप नेस्ले की मैगी बेच रहे हो बट आप yippee वालों की मैगी बनाकर बेच रहे हो. बाहर आपने नेस्ले लगा दिया पैकेट पे, but actually it is yippee noodles. So you're selling the condensed milk with CDF brand, but actually this brand name was being used by N company's trademark. This was their trademark. Here also it will be considered as breach of implied condition. B will have to reject the goods or he can take off the labels. N company will say, you remove our labels, you remove our trademark, and we will claim the damages for the same. So example number 5 simply tells you, number 1, you have to be the owner of the goods. Number 2, even if you are using someone else's trademark, you're using somebody else's reputation that they have built over the years, you cannot use other person's logo. If you use somebody else's patents or trademark, then also it will be considered as a breach of implied condition. Clear ho gaya? And here also you're entitled to refund the price and you have to return the goods to the true owner. Clear hai? Let us say the sale by description. So sale by description simply tells you that this is the goods. If you're contracting to sell peas, you cannot compel the buyer to take the beans. This is very interesting. Nowadays, children, tomatoes are very expensive. Do you know what is the rate of tomato going on in the market? They're very expensive. Your parents and mothers must be knowing it. कि आजकल टमाटर बहुत महंगा हो. So you came to my shop and he said, ma'am, we want to buy tomatoes and I gave you onions. Is it a good deal? You're asking me, you want to buy tomatoes and I'm giving you onions. You said, ma'am, we want to buy mangoes and I gave you apples. Or as per the study material, you wanted to buy peas, जो कि होता है मटर, peas means मटर, and I gave you beans. This rule is based on this principle that you must pay and accept the goods only which you want to buy. So you will simply say, ma'am, we have asked for tomatoes. Why are you giving us onions? Ye lo pakdo onions. We will not pay for this. Sale by description. Where the contract is being made for the goods which have been described, they should correspond with the description. You cannot compel the buyer. You cannot force the buyer to buy the goods which are not as per the description. Now, the sad part is that the word description is nowhere described in the act. We don't have any definition for this word description. It can only be understood from various definitions. It says Act does not provide the definition of description, but it basically means the characteristics and features of a product. जैसे कि for example, आपने बोला, ma'am, we want to buy 100 kgs of Java sugar. So I am supposed to give you Java sugar only. That is a particular kind of brand name. Or you told about waste silk. Here A in Calcutta is selling the waste silk, then he must give the waste silk only. If you have contracted to buy Egyptian cotton, then you should give the cotton which is actually known in the market to be Egyptian cotton. Or the steel of any specific dimensions. आपने बोला कि मुझे steel का एक डब्बा चाहिए which should be 6 inches long or 3 inches long. Whatever measurements, dimension the person has told you, characteristics, the goods must be as per that description. Let us read example number 7. It is very interesting. A ship was contracted to be sold. So here we are selling a ship. Ship क्या होती है? वो बड़ी सी ship जिसमें आप goods transport करते हो. So this ship was to be sold, which was to be a copper fastened vessel. Means the vessel, the ship was to be made of copper. But later on it was found that it was only partially made of copper. Balance some other steel or bronze or other kind of metal was used. So here the buyer could return the goods and also claim the damages by saying that the goods are not as per the description. So it is very important that the goods shall correspond to the description for which has been agreed with the buyer. All right. So it is a statement or representation, whatever statements the seller and buyer are making regarding the identification of goods and the mode of packing, that is described as description. Remember this example of tomatoes and onions. I'm sure you will never forget it. ठीक है, तो आपने जो चीज खरीदनी है वही आपको मिलनी चाहिए. आपने बोला उसे कि मुझे रेड कलर टी शर्ट ही चाहिए and he has packed it and given you a black t-shirt, you can return it. Another one is sale by sample, section 17. Let's take a small break over here because we have done two implied conditions. So I want you to read these two implied conditions, understand and send your queries. So let's take a small break and then we will continue with sale by sample. So let's take a All right, students, welcome back. So most of you have written that it's clear now, and also I have read the rates that you have mentioned over here for your tomatoes. So wonderful. So you have clearly understood. Komalpreet is asking if the person run away and police is unable to find him. So let's leave that job on police and how the criminals have to be fined. You simply have to remember that once the true owner has located you and you have his goods, you're bound to return. Okay, what happens further with that person, that is not to be seen by us. All right. So I cannot see any more queries on this particular one. So let's proceed ahead. Sale by sample. So now students, sale by sample, we have already understood condition as to title, breach of condition as to title, and we have already done as per description. Now, what is the meaning of sale by sample? Here it means where the goods have been sold to the buyer and certain sample is being shown. We are showing you certain samples. For example, when you go to purchase dry fruits, have you ever purchased dry fruits when you go to buy almonds, walnuts, and all these seeds and other things? There are certain, outside the shop, they have kept the things as samples. Like you can taste it. You can taste it from there, and then you can just pick up whatever quantity and other things that you want. All right. So this here, the sale is happening by sample. I think I'm not getting your questions, children. The site has stopped working. I cannot get students' questions. Please look into this matter, sir. All right. So let us continue. Meanwhile, they're just, I think, checking on the site. So once you picked up those kind of samples, you taste them, then the goods that you are purchasing. So for example, you tasted few of the almonds and you told the shopkeeper that, wow, this is really good in taste, and we want to buy the same ones. And now when you purchase these goods, they must correspond to that sample. Yes, now your questions are visible. I think the site stopped in between. Okay, Utkarsh, we'll just take your queries. Anand Gaur, अभी हम लेते हैं. अब आपकी queries मेरे पास आ रही हैं. Sneha, thank you. No doubts. That's wonderful. Good. Muskan has written reading is done. Okay, breach of contract. So Anand Gaur, if Adidas brand name is being used by other shopkeepers, then yes, definitely it will be breach of condition as to title. All right, Piyush Gupta, congratulations for that. That's great. Anand Gaur, I hope your query is clear. Yes, now everything. Yes, Ankita, now your queries are coming. Ankit Kumar, you can send your query again. It's not visible now. In between, the site stopped working, children. If you have written any doubts, you can send it again. Ishika Roy, sample shown should be as per the same as provided by the goods. So it is very much correct. Ritu, Miss Ritu is saying if we go to the mobile shop and we see the sample and we purchase the goods, it must correspond to that. That is absolutely correct. So Miss Vidisha, any goods which you are buying through sample, it means the good should be as per the sample. Sample का मतलब होता है जैसे हम for example लेते हैं कि मैंने आपको कोई चीज बताई और एग्जाम्पल दिया, इसी तरह वो एग्जाम्पल की तरह आपको शो करते हैं कि मैम आप हमारे बेकरी शॉप में आए हैं, यू वांट टू बाय दिस केक, वुड यू लाइक टू टेस्ट सम सैंपल. सो आपने क्या करा, उन्होंने कईयों ने बेकरी शॉप्स में केक्स के स्लाइसेस रखे होते हैं कि आप टेस्ट कर सकते हैं एंड देन यू कैन डिसाइड. और yes, when you go to the ice cream parlors, definitely Baskin Robbins when you go. Okay, so when you buy over there, yes, somebody is saying Adidas is using another name. Definitely likhe, that is breach of implied condition as to title. So when you go to ice cream shop, you go to Baskin Robbins and they ask you to taste the flavors. And I know you students, you're very naughty. You taste so many flavors and at the end you buy one of them, but you love to taste all of it because the sample is being shown. So that is the meaning of sale by sample. Now I made you taste that almond strawberry chocolate taste of the ice cream. And when I gave you a mango ice cream. So here the goods are not at all matching with the sample. So it should correspond with the sample. So what will happen if you're not, yes, Manish, that is also a good example of driving the car. So if the goods are not matching as per the sample, what right is available with the buyer? He can return the goods and the seller is bound to pay back the price. Yes, Dolly does. Buyer is bound to get the price also paid also back for the sample if the goods are not responding to the sample description, whatever has been given. So Asha Begum, description also the same thing. If I've described you the goods, I've told you it should be the same way, then it should correspond to the description as well. Yes, Sarshita Pali, that's absolutely correct. Good. Ankit Kumar, if the quality and quantity is not matching, that is again related to your delivery part. We will deal it over there. But here we are talking about just exact description. What has been given, it should match. Fourth point, which we're going to do, will clear your this doubt also. Yes, Krishna Gatel is being honest. We most of the time just keep on testing the ice creams and we don't even buy anyone. So that is not a good thing. You should not do that. Yes, Mr. Rohit, all these cases are a breach of contract. Only here we are understanding when the condition is breached. So entire contract is breached, has the same implications that you can return the goods and claim the refund money. You can repudiate the contract. In the same way, when a condition is breached, you can return the goods and you can claim your money back. So Keshav Borika, Mr. Keshav Borika has a very interesting question. He says, what if the wrong goods are being accepted by the buyer? So that is buyer's mistake. It is the whole huge topic, that is topic of caveat emptor. There I will make you understand what is the meaning of where the buyer goes wrong. Okay. If the shopkeeper refuses to give you the sample, then Miss Srinath, Srinithi Ji, Miss Srinithi, then also you have the right to reject the goods. I will just take you in the study material and show you where it is written. Now let's quickly complete this. Good. Now I'm getting all your questions also. Yes, Ishika Roy, that is also correct example. Yes, Manisha, don't worry. We will complete all the implied conditions and warranties today. And whatever will be left will be taken over in the next class. Don't worry. Yes, Vidisha, that is also correct. If the taste of the goods doesn't match, you can return the sample. That's absolutely clear. So let's move to the fourth point, sale by sample as well as description. All my students have very nicely understood the sample thing, third point. Now I'm giving you the description also and I'm showing you the sample. Say, for example, this sunflower oil, which you can see in the picture, and another category is hemp oil. This is little different kind of category of oil. So when I showed you the sample, you said, ma'am, I want to buy a sunflower oil. Sunflower oil is the oil, refined cooking oil, which is used for cooking. So I showed you a sample which was already having a mixture of hemp oil. Hemp oil is used for some other purpose. So when you check the sample, you said this is fine and you purchased it and you bought the sunflower oil home. But when you check the sunflower oil, it was not the same as the sample was shown to you. Although the good was as per the description, but the sample was not corresponding, then also the buyer has the right to reject the goods. So in fourth condition, where the breach of sample and description are written, there you have to write down these 3 points. If goods are no, if the goods, whenever the goods are sold first, when the goods are sold by sample as well as description, number 1, goods must correspond to both sample as well as description. जो दिखाया है और जो बताया है, सेम होना चाहिए. Number 2, if goods are as per description and not as per sample, as the example I've discussed, return the goods and claim the refund. Buyer can return the goods and claim the refund if they are as per the description but not as per the sample. Second case, if goods are as per the sample, so the sample of mixture was shown, it was as per that, but not as per description. So now it is not validating your description. It should have been sunflower oil, but it is having a mixture. Then also the buyer can return the goods and claim the refund back. Quickly write down the summary. This is what defines your goods sold as per sample and description. So whenever the goods are sold to both sample and description, then accept the goods. Then only you will accept the goods. Clear? Please note it down quickly. If the buyer confirmed the defective sample, Mr. Rohit, then rule of caveat emptor will become applicable. I will explain you here. It will be buyer's fault, not the seller's fault. What if we damage the sample? Mr. Munish, if you do any harm in the shop of seller, Mr. Munish has asked a very interesting question. Many a times I get this question from students. Okay, Ruchita, we will do examples from study material. Don't worry. So children, many a time students ask me if we are in the seller's shop and ownership has not been passed, or we are just testing the sample. So for example, you have come into a shop where it is a glass crockery lying over there. And by mistake, the crockery fell from your hand. Are you bound to pay the price? 101% you will be bound to pay the price. Don't call ma'am and ask me, ma'am, ownership was not passed. I am not the buyer. I am not the owner. If you do any such kind of mistakes, or what Mohanish has written, if you try to damage the sample, you try to do anything wrong with seller's goods, you're definitely bound to bear the loss, because on shops mein bhi likha hota hai, be careful while touching the products. Don't touch, only see. So if you try to harm by mistake also, if any harm has happened, then also you have to bear the loss. Okay, so be very, very careful. Don't just blindly, you cannot apply law everywhere. Okay. Yes, Mr. Mohammed Shoaib, it can be a kind of misrepresentation also. Good. So I hope you all have written down this point. Let's cover this examples from the study material. So where the goods are being sold by sample, we just understood that it should qualify, it should correspond with the sample in quality, and a reasonable opportunity of comparing the bulk with sample should also be given. So you tasted the walnuts, they were nice, big, huge walnuts, and you said, Bhaiya, please 2 kgs walnuts, merely pack it. You tasted it and he packed it for you. Now, if you say that, sir, can I just check it? Can I see that this big size of good walnut that I have tasted, is my goods packed the same? And seller says, no, 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 you cannot check it. You have full right to refuse to buy the goods. You should be given an opportunity to compare, because आप bulk में purchase कर रहे हो. आपने एक छोटा सा sample देखा और bulk means huge quantity में आप चीज buy कर रहे हो. तो अगर आपको seller वो right नहीं देता, अगर seller आपको रोकता है compare करने के लिए, then also it is a breach of implied condition. You can return the goods. So if examiner gives you such a question, you have to write both these conditions. Number 1, the goods should be as per the sample. Number 2, opportunity must be given to the buyer to check the goods with the sample. And number 3, the goods should be free from any defects. What is the meaning of free from any defects? Free from any defects means this should not be a defective goods. Say I'm selling you a big nice cloth. You wanted to purchase big cloth. You want to get a night suit stitched out of it. and you went to a shopkeeper and you want to buy nice big 3 meter cloth for yourself, cotton cloth. And the cloth was torn. When I showed you, the cloth was torn from in between. Will you buy that cloth? You will say, ma'am, it's unmerchantable. It's not sellable. It's not in proper condition. Why will you buy it? If anything on reasonable examination is visible, have you studied? You must have studied all these points when you were covering free consent topic of fraud, misrepresentation, about hidden and latent defects. So anything which can be discovered by ordinary examination, I showed you the cloth and say, for example, this is the cloth I'm showing you and I showed you like this and there was a hole in this cloth. So you will not buy it. You will simply say that this is not a correct cloth. Show me something else. But law says it is buyer's responsibility to examine the goods. You told me that this is the dupatta. I said, okay, just pack it. Found a defect. Then it is my mistake. I should have checked it before buying. So every time seller cannot be at fault, it is buyer's responsibility also to check the goods before buying it. But in this point number example, section 17 says the goods shall be free from such defects. If I'm trying to hide the defects, if there are latent defects, for example, there was hole in this cloth and I am the seller, I quietly put this in my hand and then I showed you the cloth and you could not figure out any hole, then it is a hidden defect. Now when the buyer goes home and he discovers it, he has the right to reject the goods. Buyer can simply avoid the contract if there are any kind of latent defects. Number one, what are latent defects? Defects which cannot be seen by an ordinary examination. Seller is trying to cheat you, concept of fraud under Indian Contract Act. He is hiding the defects. Here you have the right to reject the contract and claim the refund of the price. Clear? So a company sold certain shoes made of special sole by sample for French army. And later on it was found that the sole, it was not sole, there was paper in the shoe. So a French army ने जूते खरीदे, उन्होंने sample दिखाया कि these are beautiful shoes and they're having a soft sole in it. They're having a nice cushioned sole. But when they purchased it, they found there was paper lying in the sole. There was not a special sole. Here, he was entitled for the refund also and damages also. You can simply go and tell them that this is not as per the sample. We will not accept it. You showed us a wrong sample and now you have given us the goods which are not at all corresponding with the sample. So you can return the goods and you can also claim the damages for the same. Let's go to the fourth point, sale by description and sample. The sale by description and sample is very simple, children. We have already made the notes also. The goods must correspond with the sample and description, both the things. If one of them things is not matching, buyer can repudiate the contract, means buyer can cancel the contract. So you came to my shop and you said that, ma'am, we want to buy basmati rice. Okay, you came to my shop. Somebody was asking examples. So example for section 15, I'm explaining it now. Take the name. Dolly Das, if buyer did not notice the defect, then if there are two things. One, if the defect could be noticed and he is not noticing, I just gave you example that there is a hole in the patta, I did not notice, it is my fault as a buyer. But seller did not allow me to notice. He was hiding the defects. He was holding the dupatta from the place where there was defect. He was hiding it. Then it is a latent defect. Then seller is responsible. Okay. Nishi Garg, if you bought the goods home, then you have become the owner. Now you are only spoiling it. Then it is your mistake as a buyer. Goods should not be damaged. Very good. Sahana, Ankita, Muskan, Saloni. Very good. Okay, so section 15 example, you went to the shopkeeper, you said, I want to buy basmati rice. And he said, see, this is the sample, basmati rice, you checked it. Yeah, this is a nice long basmati rice. This is what I want to cook today. And you purchase it. And you said, sample is also good, description is nice. And you purchase 15 kgs of basmati rice. When you came home, you find that the basmati rice, they have mixed certain lower quality of rice also. Now, were the goods as per description? Here, they're not even as per description. They're not even as per the sample. So I showed you the sample of basmati rice. You said you want to buy the basmati rice, but I've given you the mixture of both of them. Reject the goods. You went to the shop. He's showing you the sample which has the mixture of basmati rice and the ordinary rice, but you said only basmati rice. He gave you the goods which were corresponding the sample. So you have seen the sample which was basmati rice and another goods, and now you purchase it. Here again, your goods are not corresponding as per the description, so you can return the goods. Simple, those three things you have to remember. Only you have to accept if the goods are both description and sample are matching. If one of them is not matching, you can return the goods. And if both of them are not matching, definitely you will return the goods. So same example, hemp oil, certain quantity of oil was mixed, so B can reject the goods. Now, section 16, subsection 1 is very, very important. 100% attention I want all of you to pay here. Condition as to quality or fitness. Law says number one thing is there is no implied condition as to quality and fitness. अब ये सारी चीजें जो आप मुझसे पूछ रहे थे अभी कि मैम क्या हमेशा बायर की गलती है या सेलर की हमेशा गलती है? नो बेटा, बायर की भी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है. आप खरीदने जा रहे हैं मार्केट में कुछ सामान, तो आपकी कोई रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं है. आपने बिस्किट्स के पैकेट खरीदे, से फॉर एग्जांपल यू रियली एंजॉय बाइंग हाइड एंड सीक बिस्किट्स, सो यू वेंट टू शॉप एंड यू परचेज 5 पैकेट्स ऑफ हाइड एंड सीक. बड़े खुश हो के आज मम्मा ने पॉकेट मनी दी है और हम अपने सबसे पहले मार्केट, मम्मा ने बोला सामान लाना है और आपने सबसे पहले अपने बिस्किट्स उठाए, being very happy that I'm going to buy my 5 hide and seek packets of biscuits. You came back home and you told mama that we have purchased whatever you have asked and I've got these 5 biscuits also. And your mother showed you, have you seen the date of expiry? These are December 2022 expired biscuits. Now, whose mistake is this? Your mistake or the shopkeeper mistake? Jaldi batao. You purchase hide and seek biscuits and they are already, expired and you did not check the date. Whose mistake is that? Ritika, you will get the books directly from the institute itself. Akruti saying difference between section 14 and 15. Okay, don't worry, we'll just cover it. Muskan and Ruchita Kapse, the first one to send the answers. Excellent. It is our mistake, ma'am. It is buyer's mistake. We must मजे से अपनी ट्रॉली लेकर शॉपिंग कर रहे हो, देखना भी तो है सामान की ठीक है ये नहीं, सेल लगी है, 50% ऑफ है, सब कुछ उठा कर ले आओ. बी केयरफुल, बी अवेयर, लेट द बायर बी अवेयर इज द रूल ऑफ caveat emptor. It says the buyer should not be sleeping while buying the goods. Okay. Yes, Mohammed Shoaib, if you have not examined the goods with ordinary diligence, then you cannot reject the goods. It is sometimes your mistake also. So section 16, subsection 1 says that although there is no implied condition as to quality and fitness, means that it is buyer's responsibility to check before buying the goods. You cannot simply jump in and you cannot blindly apply the law and make the seller's fault everywhere. Now it says in certain cases, becomes the implied condition. These are the 3 points. If you are satisfying these 3 points, then it is the implied condition of the seller. If you have relied on these 3 points and now if the goods are not as per the requirement, then you can reject the goods. So let us read it. Pay full attention. I am not reading your queries now. I want all attention. This implied condition will not apply if the goods are sold under trademark or patent name. Again, if you are buying the goods under the name of brand or particular Nestle brand, Coke, Pepsi, then it is as per the trademark. Again, this condition will not be applicable. So when this condition is applicable, it says implied condition on part of seller that the goods shall be reasonably paid only if these 3 conditions are fulfilled. सेलर आपको तभी क्वांटिटी, क्वालिटी एंड फिटनेस की श्योरिटी देगा अगर ये 3 कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई होती है. व्हाट आर दीज 3 कंडीशंस? नंबर 1, buyer should have made known to the seller the purpose for which the goods are required. Buyer will go to the seller and he will tell him, see, this is the purpose for which I need the goods. See, for example, you want to get a wedding lehenga made for your sister's wedding. Now, for the wedding lehenga, obviously, you'll not go to the confectionery shop. You will have to go to some boutique. You are relying on the skill and judgment of the seller. Seller should be dealing in those kind of goods. If you want to get a wedding lehenga stitched for your sister and you went to a shop, you went to a tailor who only stitch raiments, coats and pants, is it your fault or seller's fault? 100% it is our fault, ma'am. We should go to the person who is into selling of these kind of goods. So number one, you must be telling this buyer, telling the seller for what purpose the goods are required. Now you told that, ma'am, I need a wedding lehenga for my sister's wedding. So you went to the boutique person who is actually dealing, who is making these lehengas, sarees, suits. And he has that skill and judgment. ये नहीं कि वो कोट पैंट बनाता है दर्जी और आप उसको लहंगा देकर जा रहे हो, फिर आपकी गलती. But हाँ, अगर वो बुटीक है, जो seller है, who is into this business, he has the required skill and judgment, and you have told him the purpose for which the goods are required. Now, if on the day before wedding he gets a suit instead of lehenga for you, then it will be breach of implied condition as to quality and fitness. Why? Because you have asked for something else. You wanted your sister to wear a lehenga and this person has stitched the suit. Or you wanted him to stitch a fish cut lehenga and he has stitched a different kind of lehenga, or whatever kind of example you want to do. You wanted him to stitch an anarkali suit for you and he has stitched a plazo suit for you. Or maybe for boys, you wanted a collar neck t-shirt and he has stitched a shirt for you. So here, if you're relying on the seller's skill and judgment and he is dealing in such goods and you have told him the purpose for which the goods are required, if these three conditions are fulfilled, in such a case, it will be the breach of implied condition as to quality and fitness if he is not giving you the goods as per the requirement. Okay, but where the goods only can be used for one purpose, then the buyer is not required to tell him the purpose for which the goods are required. Agar goods हैं ऐसे nature के, in some cases there are certain goods which can only be used for that purpose only. Then it is not mandatory for the buyer to tell the seller the purpose for which the goods are required. Let us do these two examples. A bought a set of false teeth from a dentist, but this set of teeth was not fit for A's mouth. अब यहाँ पे जब आप false teeth लेने जा रहे हो किसी डेंटिस्ट से, false teeth means आपके दांत खराब हो गए, अब आप दांत लगवा रहे हो, teeth लगवा रहे हो, and you are buying this from a dentist. So dentist will obviously take the measurements of your mouth. Remember this example we did earlier also? He will take the measurements of your mouth and will try to give you exactly the same kind of thing. But here, if he has not given you the things, if it is not fit for your mouth, he has not taken the measurements properly, then you can reject the goods and you can claim the refund of price. Here you have told him the purpose for which you wanted the teeth and that has not been fulfilled. Okay, so number one, you're relying on seller's skills. So seller is the dentist, you're relying on his skill and judgment. You have told him the purpose for which the goods are required. And he is dealing in such kind of things. He's a dentist, he's already dealing into such kind of products. So here, if the goods are not as per the purpose, you have the right to reject it. Second example, A went to buy a sewing machine, which is a Merit sewing machine. अब एक brand name था कि मुझे Merit sewing machine चाहिए. तो B ने उसको Merit sewing machine पड़ी थी, वो दे दी. Here the buyer is relying on the trade name and not on the skill and judgment of the seller. So now if the machine is not working properly, seller will not be held liable. He says here there is no implied condition for the fitness of the machine because buyer required and requested for a particular brand name. So where you ordered a Coke for yourself, you're relying on the Coke brand name. And if the taste is not good, then seller is not responsible. That particular trade name or patent, the person who is having this brand will be held responsible. All right. So example number 11 and 12, I will give you a break in a while, then you will read all these examples. I told you we have to learn the content today itself. So we'll do it carefully, aram se, so that you can read it, and if any doubts, you can clear it today only. So as a general rule, ये line learn कर लेना अच्छे से. It is the duty of buyer to examine the goods. It is your duty. You are buying the goods. आप hide and seek biscuit गलत लेकर आए हो, आपकी गलती. You should let the seller know the purpose for which you're buying. Yes, if you ask the seller, please give you the goods, they should not be expired. You have relied on his judgment. He's checking the date and he's lying to you. Then again, you can hold him responsible. But the rule of caveat emptor will apply in this particular case. And another one, condition as to merchantability. Now, what is the meaning of merchantability? It means the goods shall be as per the description. If you are the manufacturer or producer of the goods, then they should be of merchantable quality. Merchantable का मतलब होता है कि business करने लायक हो, saleable हो. Again, if I'm selling you torn clothes, फटे हुए हैं वो clothes जो मैं बेच रही हूँ आपको, या फिर stitching properly नहीं हुई हुई है, ants लगे हुए हैं, white ants example we'll just read over here. There was, you have bought a black velvet cloth from Mr. C and it was damaged by white ants. Here the merchantability condition is breached. The goods shall be of good quality, something which can be accepted. आपने bedsheet खरीदी and वो bedsheet already फटी हुई थी, it was torn, then it is not merchantable, no? Person ordered motor horns from the manufacturer and the horns were scratched and damaged due to bad packing. So आपने horns order करे, वो सब damage हो गए थे, खराब packing की वजह से सब damaged. So law says it has become unmerchantable. So this is not acceptable. It has to be in good conditions. So breach of implied condition as to merchantability means the goods should be as per description and they should have been bought. You purchased a fan which is not working, it is not merchantable. You purchased a pen which does not write, it is not merchantable. All right. And the last one is breach of implied condition as to wholesomeness. Now, merchantability is used for commercial transactions. The word wholesomeness is used for eatables. You purchased a packet of milk and the milk is expired. Wholesomeness hi nahi hai. A supplied F with milk and it contained typhoid germs. Somebody just died drinking that milk. It's a breach of condition as to quality and fitness as well as wholesomeness. Not just damages, you can also sue that person. He is a kind of a criminal who has done a murder because of such kind of product. So you have to be very sure that whatever you're selling should be wholesome. All right, that's why it is generally said that you should buy things from good shops. You should not buy water is not good, which is not mixed. You have used infected water in your dishes. That is wholesomeness is breached. The quality of goods that you're buying should be fit for eating. This wholesomeness is specifically used for eatables. So whatever you buy in eatables, it should have the wholesomeness, means it should be of good quality. And if this condition is breached, again, you can return the goods and claim the refund of the price. All right. Now quickly go through all these implied conditions that we have discussed, and then I'll take your queries. And also we will complete implied warranties today itself. All right. So let's take a small break here. All right, students, welcome back once again. Miss Vindhya is asking, in case of merchantability, what shall the buyer do? So in case of merchantability, if the goods are not merchantable, if they are not in a proper condition, buyer can return the goods and he can claim the refund of the price money. All right, Dev Kumar, I hope merchantable is now clear to you. Manisha is also asking the meaning of merchantability. Merchantability means it's not in proper working condition. Say, for example, I sold you this water bottle and you examined it properly. It was nicely visible and the lid was getting closed. But the lid was broken from somewhere or the paint was removed. Okay. So if the paint is removed, that means it's a kind of used kind of product. It's not merchantable. It's not in proper condition. So when you are selling the goods as a seller and you're selling the goods in the market, you need to have the goods in a proper condition. All right. Okay. So if they're not in proper condition, you can return the goods. That's great. What is the meaning of caveat emptor, Disha? That is the next topic. When we cover, we will understand what is caveat emptor. As of now, you simply need to know that caveat emptor means that the buyer should be aware before buying the goods. All right, let me read further more queries. Somebody is asking about description. Description basically means when the goods that you are selling should be as per the description. That is, whatever description has been given by the seller and you have agreed to that, it should correspond to that as well. Thank you, Ruchita. I'm great. All the concepts are clear to you. That's wonderful. Krishna is again asking, I hope section 16 is now clear, students, about merchantability. Somebody was asking difference between section 14 and 15. So 14 and 15 both talk about your sample and description. Here 15, we are typically talking about description where the goods are sold by describing, and section 14 talks about the title, that is ownership. Even if you're not the owner, then also you can return the goods to be thrown. Namanpreet, condition as to quality and fitness. Ka third point, Anand is asking as to quality and fitness. So what you have not understood in third point, children? So first of all, three conditions you have to remember. Third point is that the seller must be dealing in those goods. So quality and fitness, we just understood. Number one, the buyer should tell the seller for what purpose the goods are required. Number two, we are relying on the skill and judgment of the seller. And number three, the seller should be dealing in such goods. Like I just gave you an example. I want to get a lehenga stitched and I went to a seller who is actually stitching kurta pajamas for males, or he stitch blazer suits, coat pants. So it's my mistake. How can I go to a seller who is not dealing in such goods? So he should be a seller. For example, if you want to get namkeen made for your house and you're going to a person who actually makes chocolates. So there is a difference. So seller should be dealing in those goods. Whether he is a manufacturer or not, that is a different story. Either he is buying the goods from somebody else or he himself is manufacturing. Both the things are correct. Clear ho gaya? Now let us quickly start with the implied warranties. We have already done all these points. And I'm so happy that everyone is clear about it. Implied warranties. Now, what is the meaning of warranty? Warranty is also a stipulation, which is although not included as in express words, but it can be presumed that the parties have incorporated it. It is read into every contract of sale unless it is expressly excluded. Warranty is always a part of contract of sale. What is the meaning of warranty? Any stipulation which is a related part. Condition तो बहुत ही important था ना, important part of contract. अगर वो breach हो रहा था, तो हम goods वापस कर आते. But what if warranty is breached? Now 4 points we are going to learn. Examiner, it's a favorite question of examiner. Many a time he has asked you a question out of breach of implied warranties. So again, let's pay full attention. Let's understand warranty. At the end, again, 5 minutes I'll give you for the queries. So you can ask the queries then and there. Okay. Now, number one warranty is warranty as to undisturbed possession. पहली warranty क्या होती है? Undisturbed possession means you have to tell me the meaning of possession. Possession means ownership. I told you two words. There are two words. One is property in goods. Property in goods means ownership. चलो ठीक है, answers मत लिखो, अभी इधर ही लिखो. Property in goods means ownership. Possession of goods means custody of goods. मेरे पास होने चाहिए वो goods, possess करना. एक हो गया, मैंने bottle आपको sell कर. This bottle is lying with me, the seller. I have transferred the ownership. Now, when delivery is given, that means I've given you the possession of this good. Now I have handed over it to you. It is your bottle. So property in goods is ownership of the goods. Possession of goods is custody of the goods. Goods hai kiske paas. So implied warranty says that the buyer should have a quiet possession of the goods. So for example, I purchased the study material from Mr. X. My friend Mr. X, I purchased the study material from him. And this is, for example, this is study material only, but let's take an example. This is a law book. He has purchased it from the market and he sold it to me. I paid 500 rupees and I purchased it from him. Okay. Now I have made payment for this book and I have kept it to myself. I have purchased it for studying. But Mr. X comes to my house and he says, can I take my book back? I want to read some provision. I said, okay, fine, take it, give it back to me tomorrow. He came back, he returned. Again, after 2 days, he said, ma'am, I want to study and mark something more. Can I take this book back? I again gave it back to him. After 3 days, he again came back, ma'am, I need this book back. Now I have purchased it. I have made payment of rupees 500. Don't you think that my possession is getting disturbed? This is my book. I own it. I have made the payment and somebody is again and again borrowing and taking it back from me. So here my possession is getting disturbed. I am not able to own the thing properly. Or the second example, that tractor example that we just did in the starting of the class, where I told you B has purchased the tractor and C comes and tells him, this is my tractor. This was a stolen one, give it back to me. You felt very bad. You felt so hurt that now you were using this thing. Now you have to give it back. You have to leave your plowing of the farming in between, plowing of the fields that you were doing by using that tractor that was left in between. So your possession got disturbed. So breach of implied condition as to title tells you that if you're not the owner, return the goods to the true owner and claim the money back from the seller. But at the same time, your warranty of possession has also got disturbed. You were using the goods happily and they have been taken away. Now you can also sue the seller for the damages. एक तो आपने उसे refund of prize money तो लेना ही लेना है उससे. But also if you're not getting complete possession of goods, possession means आपने ट्रैक्टर की कस्टडी ली थी, अब वो ट्रैक्टर वापस ले गया आपसे, आपकी कस्टडी में नहीं रहा, आपकी पोजीशन में नहीं रहा वो. You can also sue the seller for the breach of this warranty, means you will also ask him to claim for the damages. Example number 16. Somebody was raising query in example 16. वो हमने करा ही नहीं है बेटा, अब करेंगे. So all those who wanted to listen this example now. X buys a laptop from Y. Y is a seller. After this, X spent some money on its repair. नया laptop लेकर आया and there was some defect. He spent money for repairing also. And he uses it for some time. Both the parties were not knowing it, and it turns out to be a laptop which was a stolen one. Now, this was a stolen laptop, like it was a stolen tractor. Now, this laptop is also a stolen one. So, a right owner came, true owner came, and he said that give my laptop back. Now, the seller was held responsible for the breach and X can also sue him for the damages. Number one, for the damages that has occurred, for the prize money and also for the cost of repairs. Why? Because he has spent some money on its repairs also. No? So, say for example, the laptop was for 60,000. So, Y has already, X buys this laptop and he has paid 60,000 to buy for this laptop and also spent 5,000 rupees on its repair. He was using it. Some keys were not working, functioning properly, and he spent 5,000 for its repair. Now he will recover full 65,000 rupees from Mr. Y when Z, the true owner, takes it back from him. All right. So breach of warranty as to undisturbed possession is somewhat related to breach of implied condition as to title. तभी आप देखोगे वहां पे सेक्शन 14 सबसेक्शन ए था, यहाँ पे सेक्शन 14 सबसेक्शन बी है. All right. Let's go to another point. Warranty as non-existence of encumbrances. Encumbrances means certain charges. If the goods are given to someone or they are having certain hypothecation or charges on them. So it says, law says it should be free from it. Non-existence means the goods should be free from charges. Implied warranty that the goods shall be free from any charge in favor of third party, not declared or known to the buyer before or at the time of contract of sale is made. So if you're making a contract of sale with a buyer and you're not telling him that the goods have been given to some other person, charge means they're lying with a third party, then again it will be considered as a breach of warranty. Let us take the example. It says A pledged his car with C for a loan of 15,000. सिर्फ फर्स्ट लाइन पहले पढ़ो, सबको समझ आ गया प्लेजिंग का मतलब. A ने गाड़ी प्लेज करी C के साथ. That means A has given his car on security to Mr. C. He has given his car as a security to Mr. C so that he can take a loan of rupees 15,000. This is the case of pledge. So what kind of property he has passed on to Mr. C? Is it a general property which is lying with Mr. C or a special property? Quickly tell. Is it general property or special property? Is it a general property that you have passed or a special property? Many of you are writing both the properties. Oh my God, students, what has happened? You want to know who has written the correct answer? Prakatish, great. Special property. Jia, Mohammed Shoaib, Shirinati, Prakriti, Ruchita, Sahana. Ishika, which second point? Please, exact question I want. Sneha Gupta, send your queries at the end, okay? Again, once again. Manish, okay, special property, yes. Bilkul theek, aap sabne answer diye, special property. Manish is asking something. Difference between possession and property. So I just told you possession means custody of the goods and property means the ownership of the goods. Keshav, caveat emptor, when we do in the next class, then you will understand. Akruti, if you are purchasing a packet of chips, then they are always coming under a trade name and a patent. So you have to see the difference in that. Otherwise, you can go and tell the shopkeeper if there was any defect in the packet. But again, these are sold as per the trade name. Custody ka matlab kabza hota hai. Mr. Rohit, why are you saying kabza? Custody means you are owning the thing. It is in your hand. You have taken it now. Okay. Yes, good. Divisha Prabha, your query is not visible, but this question is there. You can please, Sneha and Divisha, send your queries once again. Don't worry. Yes, Sneha, I have seen your question. You're saying he's relying on the skill and judgment. If the buyer wants to buy good quality for running, seller says you must buy Adidas. See here, if seller is telling you something, giving you a suggestion, that is a different thing, Sneha Gupta. There we are specifically, now you want to buy Adidas shoes and you enter into Skechers, then it is your fault. You want to buy Skechers shoes and you told him that I want to buy a shoe which is comfortable for my heels, then you're relying on his judgment. Okay. Harshita is saying, what strategy should be used to learn the law easily? So the basic strategy is listen to the lectures carefully, make your notes and revise whatever is done in the class on the very same day. So gradually by revising and by making a proper timetable, things becomes clear. Okay. You start learning it slowly. Yes, Shubhiksha, they are almost talking about the same things. Prudence, Tisha is saying, what is the meaning of prudence? Prudence means in man of ordinary prudence means your judgment. With your normal judgment, what you can find out the things. Suryansh Sarvas is saying, please explain this point. Are you talking about the same point, incumbrances, children? What point are you saying? Yes, Dolly Das, that was special property. Okay, Suryansh, pay attention once again. We are still doing this point, don't worry. So A has pledged his car and all of you have excellent answers you have given, ma'am. Now special property is with Mr. C. What does that mean? That tomorrow if A will not pay back my money, I will sell his car. It is lying with me as a security. And what is he saying? I promise to give you this possession next day. कहता है गाड़ी मेरे garage में खड़ी है, next day मैं आपको लाकर दे दूँ. And this smart Mr. A, he sells this car to Mr. B. उतनी देर में बी उसकी शॉप में आया और कहता है यार तेरी कार तो बड़ी अच्छी है, मुझे बेच दे सेकंड हैंड में 2 लाख रुपीस में, I'll purchase. And he said, okay, buy this car from me. Is he doing a fair thing? First think, apply your mind. Your car is already pledged with someone and you're selling that car to a third party. That means your car has certain charge on it. There is a charge of 15,000 rupees. You have taken its security by pledging it. So now either you clear the loan amount, pay off the loan of 15,000 back to Mr. C so that the sale is clear with Mr. B, or Mr. B will go and clear the loan and he will file a case against Mr. A. Why? Because B has purchased it on good faith. उसको नहीं पता कि गाड़ी already आपने किसी और को दी हुई. Without knowing this fact, he is not aware that your car is lying with somebody else as a security. So you can either ask Mr. A to clear the loan amount, or Mr. B himself will pay the money and file a case against Mr. A for recovery of this loan amount along with interest. This is the meaning of implied warranty, non-existence of encumbrances, which means that the product that you're selling to another person should be free from certain kind of defects. It shall be free from charges. All right, I hope this point is also clear now. Let's move to another point. Warranty as to quality and fitness is the same point. It says, let the buyer be aware, seller is under no duty to reveal the unflattering truths about the goods. अब मेरी अगर मैं सेलर हूँ, मेरी बॉटल का ढक्कन अगर खराब है, तो मेरी ड्यूटी थोड़ी ना आपको बताना. आपकी भी तो ड्यूटी है ना. As a buyer, you should check it, roll it up and check it out. So warranty as to quality and fitness and condition as to quality and fitness means that it is buyer's responsibility also. But in certain cases, again, where you're relying on the seller's skill and judgment, seller is dealing in those goods and you have made known to the seller the goods for which you want to buy it, then breach of implied condition and breach of implied warranty will become applicable. And the fourth point is disclosure of dangerous nature of goods. Now, there are certain drugs which are to be sold only on the basis of prescription. आपने कभी नोटिस करा है जब आप शॉप में जाते हो, मेडिसिन शॉप में, तो कभी भी whenever you purchase a medicine, the chemist person always asks you for the prescription. Has it ever happened with you? Why does he ask you for the prescription? Because medicine has certain amount of drugs in it. We can't sell you the medicines without doctor's prescription. So the chemist guy will always see the doctor's prescription and then give you certain kind of medicines like paracetamol, Comiflame, ye to chalo mil jati hai, but certain medicines are which has to be prescribed by the doctor. Now there are certain things which are very dangerous in nature. It is the responsibility of the seller to disclose those facts. Okay, let's take the example from my presentation for this. There was this disinfectant powder which you are purchasing from the shop, and when you open the lid of the powder, it went into the eyes of the customer and he got a lot of infection. Now, there was a dangerous nature of goods involved. It was my duty as a seller to tell you that please open this disinfectant powder very carefully. It might just flow into your eyes. It is my responsibility as a seller to do that. Now, if I fail to do it and there is a breach of implied warranty for disclosing the dangerous nature. Have you ever read it's written on the medicines, keep it out of reach of children? Don't keep it in the sunlight. These are all disclaimers. This is warranties that we have written over there, that this dangerous nature, we are disclosing the facts about, so that these products should be dealt with care. So if this kind of warranty is breached, again, you can claim the damages, you can sue the seller for the same. All right, so May 2019, question number 1, C part, 4 marks question came in the exam. Discuss the various types of implied warranties. So if such a kind of question come, all these 4 first you will define what is warranties. Then you will explain what happens with the breach of warranty, and all these 4, again, second-hand typewriter, the example we just did from the study material. This loan example for the car, you have to give disclosure of dangerous nature, and usage of trade means the shares purchased from the broker expected to be free from bad deliveries. So when you're dealing in the shares as a broker, you are dealing. So as per the usage of trade, it is assumed that you are doing it as a fair deal. Any kind of breach or non-fulfillment of the promises, damages can be claimed by the other party. All right. So a very small topic of doctrine of caveat emptor is left from this chapter, which we will be covering on Monday when we start the session. Now, since you have studied like good students, let me test your knowledge. Let us do few of the MCQs. Please read this question and send me the answers. So let us wear our thinking caps and apply the knowledge which we have just understand and learned today. The goods must correspond with the sample. Is it a case of condition as to sample, condition as to wholesomeness, and condition as to description, or all of the above? All of you have given the correct answer. Sneha, caveat emptor, we will do in the next class, so don't worry. Mr. Rohit has written, A was very clever in that example. That's great. Yes, Shalini Jan, that's clear. Good. Jia Walia say, understood clearly. Great. Shrinathi says, your explanation is just amazing. Thank you so much. I'm so happy you have understood. Sahana, all these presentations will be uploaded on the website. You can download it from there. Yes, Miss Pallavi, all this syllabus is part of your study material. And all those who have given the correct answer, condition as to sample, wonderful. All of you are right. Let's go to the second question. Please read the second question and send the answers. I'm finding your queries till then. If seller said no refund is available and find that the goods is defective. Yes, Mr. Kailash Yadav, you can give the goods back and claim the refund if the goods were not as per the description or not as per the sample, or the quality and fitness has been breached. If the goods are defective, yes, definitely you can return the goods. Mr. Kailash. Pratima is saying descriptive question 3 of unit 1. Okay, we'll just take it in a while. Okay. All of you have sent the correct answer for this also. Okay, don't worry, Pratima Upadhyay. We'll take this descriptive question in a while. Kailash, I've already given you the answer. You're still sending the same question. Yes, Likit, you will get all the notes of Unit 2 also. Thank you, Sneha Gupta. Okay, so breach of condition gives the aggrieved party the right to sue for the damages and repudiate the contract. So all those who have given C is the correct answer. Well done. Great students. So we will do the MCQs on Monday, further MCQs. Let us take up this question, descriptive question 3 that you have asked. Miss Vidisha De, thank you so much. Okay, yes, Pratima, we are covering third question. So all of you read this question. X contracted to sell his car to Y and they did not discuss the price of the car at all. Later, X refused to sell his car to Y, saying that the agreement was wide about the uncertainty of the price. Can Y demand the car under the sale of goods? Now, remember about the ascertainment of price. We have understood that the price of the goods must be determined either by the course of dealing between the parties or the price should be fixed, because price is a very, very important term for the contract of sale. If both of us have ignored this price, we have not remembered ascertainment of price, then what do you need to pay? You have to pay a reasonable price. Very good. So it says payment of the price is very important. If the parties ignore the price, it will not become an uncertain and invalid. It will be a valid contract and the buyer needs to pay a reasonable price. What is the meaning of reasonable price? Whatever market rate is available at during that time for that particular car, we will assess that, we will find it out and we will determine the price accordingly. So refer to section 9 and 10 for ascertainment of price, where we have understood this point. So here, if the price is to be fixed by valuer and he is not making the valuation, then a reasonable price needs to be paid. So for the answer, you will write all these points, 3 points you will give, and here you will conclude with the reasonable price. All right. So I hope this descriptive question is also clear to most of you who have asked it. Now, Saurabh is writing, if R has stolen the goods from S and sold it to Q, then Q will sell it to P. So whosoever is the true owner, Mr. Saurabh, he will come and he will take the goods back from the buyer who is having it. And all the consequent buyers can claim money back from the sellers and they can file a case against the seller from whom they have bought it on the basis of breach of implied condition as to title. So if you're not the owner, you are liable to pay back the money and case can be filed against. So Ms. Urvashi, quality regarding condition of quality and fitness, when we talk about this thing, cavity emptor, again, we will be discussing in detail about this quality and fitness, okay? Okay, Ruchikta, you can ask this question in the next class. Just write down the question which you want to know. I have noted it down, the 7th MCQ that you have written. So in the next class, we will take it up. Okay, Ruchikta. Thank you, Muskan. I'm great. I'm glad you have enjoyed the explanation. Great. Thank you, Mr. Om Gupta. Saurabh, your question is still coming. I hope you have found the answer. Thank you, Vindhya. Thank you, students. Thank you, P. Yamini. Thank you, Aisha. Yes, Manisha, reasonable price was the correct answer. Shruti also has given the correct answer. Great. Thank you, Ankit. The class becomes amazing because you all respond so nicely. So well done to you all also. Thank you, R. Satya. Thank you, students. If buyer knows that the laptop is stolen, then obviously you will not buy it. Okay, Ms. Chanchal. So if you know that there is a defective thing, then your cavity emptor rule will become applicable. Thank you, Ms. Sahana. Thank you, Harshita. Thank you, Krishna. Thank you, Tamanna. Thank you, students. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Revise Unit 1 and Unit 2 both till before the cavity emptor. So cavity emptor is only a small part that is left, and we will also start with Unit 3 on Monday. So be prepared. Just give it a fair reading. We'll have a quick revision of the syllabus. and then we will move ahead. All right. So I cannot find any more queries. Mr. Dev Kumar, 50% is your passing marks. Overall 200 out of 400 marks is required, and plus 50% marks in all the subjects, above 50. Okay. Thank you, Anand God. Thank you, everyone, children. Goodbye. See you all on Monday.